Hello, what up my people, welcome back to my channel once again. So today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my trade recap on gold. I actually caught some sweet sniper entry on gold, and I will actually be sharing with you guys my trade confluence that I actually use, my confirmations that I use to enter those trades. And trust me, you're going to learn a lot from this particular episode of my trade recap. So join me on my screen so that I can take you on a tour on how I actually caught those nice trades. Join me. So welcome back to my screen, guys. Like I said, I was going to be showing you guys my trade recap on gold, and the trade recap is going to start from Monday, that's May 25th 2025, no, May 26th 2025. And that Monday was a bank holiday, but irrespective, we'll still catch some pips. So I think we're going to be starting from here, Monday 26th May 2025. Okay, so this particular Monday was actually a bank holiday. It was a bank holiday, so irrespective, I didn't want to actually trade much, but irrespective, I saw a nice structure. And one thing about all these bank holidays is that when people are scared to actually enter the market, that is the right time you are supposed to be in the market. When people have more confidence in being in the market, that is when you are supposed to actually take a break from the market. So irrespective, that very Monday I saw some nice confluence, and I didn't want to actually give myself that limiting belief that it's actually a bank holiday. So irrespective, I took some trades and they actually went very well. So irrespective, we'll be starting from this first trade that I actually took. This first trade, I took it around 9 a.m. That's London session. So I will start from this particular zone here. So when on Sunday, when the market actually created this gap, the market created this gap on Sunday, can you see? And irrespective, price action was very, very choppy. And within the time that we got to London session, that's around 7, can you see here, 7:30 a.m. that is when we got this particular pullback. That is when we got this particular pullback. So irrespective, when I saw this pullback, I knew that the market was going to break this particular structure. And when it happened, what did it give us? It shows us that this is a break of structure. This is our break of structure. Now, what is the confluence that I actually used to enter this particular trade? Firstly, the break of structure and coming back to retest. So I call it break and retest. And we also have an OCL, open and close line. Can you see it here? OCL lying on the break of structure, lying on our break of structure. So irrespective, I knew that we are also going to have another pullback here. So when the market came to our pullback, what did it do? It respected our break of structure line and our OCL line. So irrespective, immediately we tapped into that particular zone. What happened? Immediately we tapped into the zone, we saw immediate rejection. That immediate rejection, irrespective, we went through a little consolidation around this particular zone, and boom, irrespective, we actually smashed take profit. Irrespective, on this particular trade, I think we actually waited for about an hour 40 minutes before we actually hit TP for this particular trade. So actually, this is how I actually caught this first trade. So like I said, this is actually a break of structure. This is actually a break of structure. Can you see? Break of structure. Now the confluence is the break of structure that is lying here, and the OCL, we expected that they are going to hold the market. Irrespective, the OCL hold the market and it reversed it immediately. So that is it for this particular trade, and we rallied the trade from this particular zone here, from this zone to this particular zone, and we got a 7:1 RR. 7:1 RR. So irrespective, that is it for the first trade. And for the second trade, we actually entered the trade around 1 p.m. starting of New York session. So irrespective, why did I enter the trade? we have a break of structure here. Can you see our break of structure? That's our rules. I always make sure I list my rule on each and every trade. Number one, we have a break of structure. This is our break of structure. Secondly, we are looking for order block, isn't it? We have an order block. Thirdly, we are looking for inducement, liquidity. Irrespective, this is our liquidity here. This liquidity now gave us enough confidence that this particular market is going to hold. So irrespective, rule number one is break of structure. Rule number two is order block. Rule number three is inducement or liquidity. Inducement or liquidity. Rule number four is our entry. So irrespective, if you notice here, you will see that I only marked the body candle of this particular order block. Can you see the wick here? But irrespective, I only marked the body candle, and boom, the market actually hold the body candle. The body candle actually hold the market for a reversal. Irrespective, we reversed and we caught also a 1:1 RR, and I rallied that trade from this particular zone here to this zone. Quick impulsive move. Within 15 minutes we hit our TP. So boom, that is that for second trade. For the third trade, irrespective, for the third trade, we entered this third trade at about 2:10 p.m. That's the New York session. We entered at the New York session. Irrespective, I will be dropping a video that would show the process of how I actually entered this trade, the proof of how I entered this trade. I normally upload my I normally do a short video of every trade I'm actually taking. So irrespective, I'm going to be showing the proof of the process of all these trades. So for that, for the 2 p.m. trade, it's New York session. Now I will be listing my confluence that I actually use for that particular trade. My confluence. The first thing I actually look at is my OCL. This is my OCL. I use this as an entry. I use entry as I was the one that actually marked it as my entry because that is where I want to enter from. Then this is my OCL. Can you see this OCL now? Do we have liquidity around this OCL? Yes, this is our liquidity. Can you see? This is our liquidity. And when the market came, what did it do? The moment it take out this particular liquidity, can you see? The moment it take out this liquidity, you see all these trades that I actually entered was a bank holiday trade. And can you see? Days where people are scared is when you are supposed to enter the market and fuck it up. That is if you know how to trade. That is if you know how to trade. So irrespective, this particular trade, liquidity, OCL, entry, irrespective, boom, took out liquidity and it gave us a 5:1 RR. Gave up 5:1 RR, rallied that trade from this particular zone to this zone. Irrespective, that is how we actually caught the second trade. And the third trade, sorry. So the fourth trade here, another OCL. Already we knew that this market is now on the uptrend. So that is why I was actually continuing to make sure I was actually scalping that particular uptrend. So we knew that this market was on the uptrend already. So irrespective, we're just using the OCL and that's the obstruction on the downside. That is why we are using it to actually enter all those trades. So for this particular trade, do we have liquidity? Do we have liquidity that lies around it? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Irrespective, this is my liquidity here. This is my liquidity here. The market came, take out the liquidity, give us a little reaction. Can you see? And irrespective, boom, came out to take out the liquidity, tested our OCL, and also give us a 4:1 RR. Also gave us a 4:1 RR. We rallied that trade from this particular zone here. Can you see? From this zone here to this zone. So irrespective, that's it for the fourth trade. So now for the fifth trade, do we have liquidity? Do we have liquidity? That is what I actually always look at if I'm actually in a trend. The moment you are in a trend, you don't need to always look at other blocks. You don't need to always look at break of structure. What you just need to always look at is liquidity. Your entry point. If your entry point is other block, you make sure you have liquidity resting above the other block or below the other block. If OCL, if it is a trend, you make sure that your liquidity is lying above the OCL or below the OCL, depending on if it is bearish or bullish. So irrespective, liquidity first. This is a continuation trend. So first liquidity, taking out, gave reaction, came back. Can you see? This is the liquidity. Gave reaction when it tapped it, went up, came back, tapped us in, and gave us a 4:1 RR. A 4:1 RR. And we rallied that same trade from this zone to this zone. So those are the trades that I actually caught on bank holiday, on Monday. Bank holidays. So that is it for this particular trade. So going to Tuesday, can you see impulsive fall? This is what they call falling knife. And irrespective, I caught that falling knife. I caught that same falling knife. So moving to the next day, that's Tuesday 27th May 2025. We had a break here. Can you see? We had a break and retest here. Now, how did this break and retest happen? I'm going to explain. And the confluence that I actually used before entering the trade. So now, irrespective, we had a falling knife. I call it a falling knife. We had a falling knife coming down. Irrespective, when it tested this resistance, can you see this bullish candle? When it tested the resistance, it gave them what? It gave them a reaction. After that reaction, what did we see? An engulfing candle. Immediate rejection. Since we saw this engulfing candle, what is the next thing that we are supposed to know? We knew that irrespective, we break this particular zone here. Can you see? Is a zone here. This is a zone. It was broken. After it is broken, what am I looking at? A retest back inside that broken engulfing candle. So what happened? Irrespective, the moment I saw this engulfing candle, I kept my sell limit here. And what did the market do? Can you see this last candle? It came, tapped me into this market, and started coming down immediately. Now, why did I use this place as my take profit? My psychological level, my reaction level, and I normally call it my psychological level. So irrespective, I use this as my TP level. And what happened? Immediately the market came to this level. It actually rejected. Can you see? Actually rejected, came back, break it, and still came back inside again. So I don't want to be in this spike. I don't want to be around this spike. So irrespective, I use my psychological level to take my profits. So irrespective, we rallied this trade at 3:1 RR. It's actually 2.93, but it's actually a 3:1 RR. And that is how we actually smashed this trade too. From this particular zone to this zone. Yeah, so that is it. So the second trade for Tuesday. Wow, this is awesome. Psychological level again. I know a lot of people will be like, if this is a psychological level, you need to understand that this psychological level are rejection levels. If I call it rejection level, they are also reaction levels. Places that you will see that they are reacting so much, those are these levels. So don't forget this particular trade. The moment it goes to this level, what did it do? Reacted impulsively. Can you see this particular candle? Reacted. This one too reacted. So irrespective, these particular junctions, this particular zone are reaction level. That's why we call them psychological level. You don't want to be on that particular zone and you are in the market. So irrespective, we use those zones to actually take profit or enter a particular trade. So irrespective, another trade for breaking zone break. Irrespective, we saw a break of this particular zone. We saw a break of this zone, and we saw the break with good momentum. It actually came with good momentum, and if it came with good momentum, what are we looking at to do? I noticed that it actually broke my psychological level. If it breaks my psychological level, what am I looking at? I knew that it is a falling knife, and if a market is falling like this, what are you looking at to do? You make sure you are looking at what is the obstruction that it is going to face along the line that will make the market stop falling. What is that obstruction? So irrespective, I got an obstruction from this particular level here. Can you see? I knew that this particular level was going to be obstructed because we have double engulfing candle. That is my own resistance. This and this. So I knew we were going to be very choppy around this zone. And what happened? As at 8 a.m., that's getting to London session, because all these trades were caught at Asian session. That is why they were just falling. Everybody was just knife was just falling before everybody would wake up. But irrespective, I woke up very early. I caught this particular first trade at about 6 a.m. Nigerian time. Caught the second trade at about 7:35 a.m. Nigerian time. So irrespective, the market was falling before the London session would start. So, and when I saw that falling knife, I had experienced that falling knife are very dangerous to trade. But irrespective, if you know what you are doing, falling knife is the best structure to actually trade. So irrespective, I waited for a retest of this my psychological level. Let's go back to the second trade. Waited for a retest of my psychological level, and irrespective, when my sell limit was here, the market came in, tapped me into the market, and came to my obstruction in the market. Irrespective, when it came here, I knew that this particular line was the resistance level. Irrespective, it came here and gave us a nice reaction. Can you see? It rejected immediately because of this particular zone. Double engulfing lines. That's DEL. So double engulfing line, and irrespective, the market came, respected this particular, gave us reaction. I won't say it respected it because it broke it at last. Gave us a reaction, and irrespective, we took our profit from there. So this trade, we actually rallied this trade from this particular zone to this zone, and this trade actually just took us just 20 minutes to actually hit TP, and it's actually a 7:1 RR. So that is how I actually caught these two trades on a falling knife trade. So I think those are the two trades that I actually took for Tuesday. And Wednesday, time and price. This trade went very well because irrespective of how our confluence are, we want to see that we are actually looking at time and irrespective price, and this is the definition of time and price. So now my confluence for Wednesday trades. Firstly, we have double engulfing. Can you see? Double engulfing candle. I mark my first double engulfing candle. Secondly, we have the second double engulfing. I mark my second double engulfing candle. And irrespective, before this market, because this is a London session trade that I actually caught, it's actually on the London session. First and foremost, we had a liquidity here. Can you see the liquidity? This is the liquidity here. It was lying around this particular candle here. this candle. Sorry, I was supposed to be using this. It was lying around this candle, my liquidity. And what happened immediately? I want you to notice the time that I actually entered this trade. I entered this trade, tapped me in around 8:35 a.m. and that is the London Open. 8:35 a.m. and that is London Open. So now my two lines that were marked already made me understood that this double engulfing is actually a support zone, and I knew that the market was going to support this particular double engulfing because we have a liquidity lying below this double engulfing. And what happened immediately? 3:35 a.m. London Open, the market came immediately and tapped us in. I'll be dropping a video that shows how the market tapped us into this particular trade and how it rallied. I will be showing the proof of how I took that particular trade. Irrespective, can you see the market came in? This is not part of our candle. Sorry, this is not part of our line. Can you see the market came, tapped us in immediately and gave us immediate rejection? And irrespective, on this particular trade, we caught a 14:1 RR. Forget it. Why it's actually a 14:1 RR is because of our type stop loss. More of our type stop loss, but we rallied that trade from that particular zone to this zone. Can you see? 14:1 RR. So that is how I actually caught this particular trade.